What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing some more junior-y stuff. I've got my Gibson SG Junior. It's like a 2019, 2020, something in there. I can't remember exactly when I bought it. Today we're going to work on intonation with this thing. A lot of folks fight with intonation on this guitar. So I ordered one of these Mojo Axe bridges to replace the lightning bridge that's on this guitar. Now, truth be told, the video's already been shot. I shot the intro to this video with my mic shut off, so this is sort of a weird cheatery thing. But basically, what we did here was, I kind of doubted, to tell you the truth. It looks pretty much exactly the same as the factory one, only I got the aged nickel one. And you look at it and you're like, is this thing even worth the 65 bucks? Does it do anything? Is it any different? So I got my calipers out. I did some measurements. I looked at them side by side. I'm like, is this even gonna make any difference? I put it on the guitar. And so, well, I put it on the guitar. This is what happened. All right, so first thing I want to do is just, now that the strings are on here, is just to measure the 12th fret, obviously 12 and 3/8, and I usually use the 1 inch, so it's actually going to be 13. That's 12 and a quarter, so it needs to come back a little over 1/8 of an inch. So basically what I'm doing is, we have a 24/7/5 scale, so I'm trying to measure half the scale from the 12th fret to the high E saddle, and we just need to bring it back a little over 1/8 of an inch. Let me loosen this up a little bit. It's actually pretty loose. And basically the idea here is just to get this kind of roughed in so the top of the saddle, okay, needs to come back further. So the top of the saddle, or the front edge of the saddle to the top of the 12th fret. I'm trying to go for 12 and 3/8, which is half of 24/7/5. Which is taking this a little bit longer than I thought. It's having to go further back than I thought originally would be necessary, but all right, well, I guess this other one was pretty far back, so. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the tuner, and we're gonna see what we can see with this deal. All right, so I put this thing on here, and it intonates perfectly, actually, which is an interesting improvement. So I can get the low E and the high E, and actually everything in between intonates fairly well. I would say as perfect as you can get one of these things. It's actually really good, which I could never get before. So that's cool. So there must be something different between the factory bridge and that bridge. However, on this particular guitar, when I play first position chords, it still sounds like hot garbage. So I think what we're gonna do here is check this nut height, because I actually have never done that on this guitar. And it is high as crap. Holy smokes. We have 30 thousandths down here. That's dumb. Well, I guess I've never really checked it on this guitar. I've just played it, which isn't normally like me, but sometimes I just don't care and I just play. But that is probably the reason why the intonation is incorrect on this guitar. So the low E is fine. It's at 21 thousandths. But then everything else is at 30, which is really bonkers. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this all down 10 thousandths, and I'm gonna see if we can make a bit of an improvement here on this. So now the trick with a Gibson is you're also got to deal with your string pull angle because of the way the peg head is shaped. So it's kind of got to be opened up on this one side. So we will take that into consideration as we, this is going to take a little bit of time. So here we go. Okay, well, this guitar is so much better. So let's talk about why. Let's talk about some mistakes that I've obviously made in the past and something that we should probably pass on to you. Really, honestly, the secrets to good intonation on any guitar. It's not just these ones that are, you know, the more rudimentary stuff. But there's a few things that we need to think about, like the fundamentals of making sure your intonation is good. And one is put new strings on the guitar. Obviously, that's where you want to start out. But you cannot neglect, and this is the mistake I made, you cannot neglect any part of the setup. The entire setup works together, okay? So basically, what we had happen here is I was able to set my 12th fret intonation on this guitar with this new bridge, and it did improve. I would say that the 65 bucks that this cost me was worth the money. I do feel that it was easier to set up the 12th fret intonation, but then when I went to play my first position chords, they were still all out of tune. Why is that? Because when I bought this guitar, I never really set it up properly. Every brand new guitar needs a good setup. And the biggest thing is you will find that most guitars out of the box. Now you have to remember, I've bought many guitars. Have them shipped to the house, haven't even looked at them, pulled them out of the box, and most of them are 25 to 30 thousandths at the nut. They do that because they want you to be able to have flexibility in your setup. Hand size, fret size, string weight, all that kind of stuff. They want to be able to give you that flexibility. Really, it should be, in my opinion, somewhere around 20 thousandths or even a little less. Like this guitar it's fine at 20. I like some of them at 15, right? Why does that matter? It's because no matter what your 12th fret intonation is set at, and no matter whether your scale length is correct and your intonation is set, when you play the guitar anywhere on the fretboard, you pull down on the string and it pulls the string away from its resting pitch. So we have a low E here, right? Anywhere where we fret this note, we're stretching it a bit away from wherever it's meant to be. So if our nut is too high, all of our first fret chord positions, our first position chord positions, and notes are going to be all out of tune because we're pulling down so hard at this super sharp angle right here, and we're causing it. And 10 thousandths of an inch makes a big difference. So when you set up your guitar from new, you pull it out of the box, don't do what I did. I completely pretty much miffed it on this deal. And you know, on this channel, I care about my setups. I don't know why I didn't do it on this guitar. I don't know why. I have no answer. I have no excuse. I don't know why. But what I do know is you set your neck relief, okay? Then you set your string. Here's the way I do this, because this is all angles. I set my string height to like 60 thousandths to start, okay? Which is what, 3.5 millimeters, something like that. And then I come down here to my nut, because if your string height is way off, because it's all trigonometry, your nut height could be off. So what I like to do is kind of set it at a median, like 60 thousandths. And then I come down here and I use that nut height tool, and I use the tool. There's gonna be people that get in the comments and be like, oh, I could do it with a business card, I could do it with a whatever. It's either right or it's not. And 10 thousandths of an inch makes a difference. 5 thousandths of an inch makes a difference. So when you use this tool, you either set it correctly or you don't. There's no, I got it close. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's correct. And you could tell in this situation, definitely, that it mattered. And judging from the median age of the folks that are on this channel, I know you can't see 5 thousandths of an inch, okay? Just putting that out there. So get the tool, use it properly. Now, if you think you're amazing with feeler gauges, that's fine, but you're not. That tool is better. Okay, so once you set your nut height, then go back and check your string height and make sure that your string height is where you want it to be. I set mine at 60 thousandths on pretty much all of my guitars, unless there's some wonky thing. There's a Telecaster here and there that might be a little different, but I like to set my stuff at 60 thousandths of an inch at the 12th fret. Once that's done, then you have basically done everything that's going to change the length of the string. And you've done everything and gotten it within spec that's going to change the length of the string as you play it. So if the nut height is correct down here, you're not pulling the string way out of tune when you play the first position. When your string height is correct up here, you're not pulling it as far out of tune when you play the third position stuff. So once you get that all done, then set your intonation, which is the length of the string and the compensation for the string thicknesses as you go from high E to low E. If you don't do these other steps first, you run into the problem that I ran into, where some of your stuff is right and some of it is not. Now, granted, the guitar is not a perfectly intonated instrument, right? So the string, there's always a compromise. So like if you're perfectly in tune here, you may not be perfectly in tune here. Right? Depending on the guitar. And by design, actually. It's just kind of how the math works on a guitar. but we can get it very, 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 very close, and we can get it within human hearing tolerances close. If we do all the steps. I feel like an idiot because I always do this on every guitar. And I say that, and now I'm going to go back and check some of my other guitars because I don't think, I need to check my Les Paul. I think I did my Les Paul. I need to check my new Les Paul Jr. because I have not touched that guitar at all. Now that came from the custom shop. We should do a video on that and see how close it was after doing this one. So maybe we'll grab in the next video or a video coming up, we'll grab the Les Paul custom shop and see how close they did. Did they actually do that, or did they leave it for me to do and I need to do it myself? These are all really important points. And so when you do a setup, don't skip any steps. And if you get to the part, the intonation, and you can't get your intonation correct, I fight so hard with intonation. It's not that hard. The problem is that if you have a problem at the intonation step, that means that you skipped one of these other ones and it's not quite right. Go back, start over, neck relief. Median string height, kind of swag that, then nut height, then double check your string height, then check your intonation afterwards. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate all of you watching these videos with me. This is an excellent guitar. This P90 is the best P90 in the world. I'll keep saying it. You should go to Dylan Talks Tone and check it out. And hit the like button and the subscribe button. Use the links in the description. If you use those links, it does help out the channel. You don't have to, but it does help out the channel. That's how you can support us. And of course, share and subscribe and like and all that stuff. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you in the next video.